Hi everyone. A few days back, I posted the case study regarding the rules of the road. This case study was case study number 5. I have previously posted 4 case studies and provided you with an analysis. In today's video, I will provide you with my analysis of the case study. So we will begin with a quick recap of the case study and then I'll provide you with my analysis. So in my previous video, I just presented the case study to you and we'll do a quick recap of what the case study was all about. So the case study, you are the watchkeeper on a coastal tanker that is heading on the northeast lane of a traffic separation scheme. So you are the watchkeeper on a blue vessel. You need to alter course to port to cross the traffic separation scheme. A trial maneuver on ARPA indicates that your vessel will pass 1 nautical mile ahead of a container ship navigating in the southwest lane at 23 knots. So the speed of the orange container ship is 23 knots and it is heading southwest. Because of the adverse tide conditions, you make the alteration a bit later than expected. You do not recheck the approaching container ship, and a few moments later you are surprised to see it closing on your starboard side. At this point of the situation, you have to answer the following questions. Firstly, did any vessel do anything wrong? Secondly, what should your vessel do now? And thirdly, what should the container ship do now? To answer the case study or to provide an analysis of the case study, you need to be very familiar with rule number 10, that is traffic separation scheme. So rule number 10 of the rules of the road is something that you should study. So let me start with my analysis. Did any vessel do anything wrong? So in my opinion, the blue vessel, that is your ship, was heading on the northeast lane and she had to alter course for some reason and cross over to the southwest lane of the traffic separation scheme. There is nothing with that, although the vessel should have created a passage plan where the crossing of traffic separation scheme should have been avoided, or it could have been done at the termination of the traffic separation scheme. However, when the blue vessel decided to alter course, there was nothing wrong with how she did it. If you are familiar with rule number 10, rule number 10 says, and rule number 10 part C says that a vessel shall, so far as practicable, avoid crossing traffic lanes, just like I mentioned before. But if the vessel is obliged to do so, she shall cross on a heading nearly as practicable at right angles to the general direction of traffic flow, which again the blue vessel was doing. So there was nothing wrong with what the blue vessel was doing. She should have avoided the alteration, that goes without saying, but when she was crossing the traffic separation scheme, she was doing it at right angles to the general direction of traffic flow. However, the mistake lied in two areas. The first one, the blue vessel conducted a trial maneuver to assess that she would be passing ahead of the container ship, and that is by 1 mile. Now 1 mile is a good enough distance in my opinion, even though it's a traffic separation scheme. However, the problem lies here. Firstly, if she was passing ahead of the container ship, she should have avoided that. So in a crossing situation, it is better to pass astern of a crossing vessel. That is my recommendation. By the practices of good seamanship, you should always pass astern of the crossing vessel. Secondly, once she conducted a trial maneuver and her alteration of course was delayed, without rechecking the passing distance and the CPA, she decided to alter the course. So the blue vessel's alteration was delayed due to adverse tide conditions. And when she finally did make the alteration, she did not recheck how close the container ship would be passing her. So that was the mistake. The second mistake was that we are not really sure about the trial maneuver function that was used to assess the situation and what vectors, whether it was true vectors or relative vectors when the assessment was being done, and so whether the CPA could be trusted or not. So that brings me to the next question. What should the blue vessel do now? So like I said, the blue vessel should have firstly avoided crossing the traffic separation scheme. When she decided to do it, she should have avoided crossing the ahead of the container ship. And now if she's finding herself in a situation where it is a crossing situation, the blue vessel should act like the giveaway vessel and then alter course, a broad alteration of course to starboard to pass astern of the container ship. So remember, rule number 10 part A says the rule applies to traffic separation schemes adopted by the organization but does not relieve any vessel of her obligation under any other rule. So just because you're in a traffic separation scheme, that doesn't mean that you are relieved of your obligation to be a giveaway vessel. You should still act like a giveaway vessel in a crossing situation, and in this case the blue vessel should alter a broad alteration of course to starboard to ensure that she passes well and truly clear of the container ship. Thirdly, what should the container ship do now? In my opinion, the container ship is at no fault. She should have been monitoring the blue vessel anyway when the blue vessel started crossing. Probably, I actually don't recommend using VHF to communicate intentions, but the container ship should maintain her course and speed. However, if she finds the CPA is close, she can start making a broad alteration of course to starboard if it's safe to do so, and make a round turn and try to pass astern of the blue vessel, but she should not alter course to port because that would be disastrous. So she should act like the stand-on vessel. She should maintain her course of speed. However, if she finds that the blue vessel, the CP of the blue vessel is close, too close for comfort, she should start altering course to starboard, stay within the traffic separation scheme, and yet, if required, either go parallel with the blue vessel, hope that the blue vessel makes an alteration to starboard and clears it, or make a whole round turn of it if it's safe to do so, and then pass ahead of the blue vessel if it is assumed that the blue vessel will not alter course. So in this case, the blue vessel or the container vessel is under no obligation to act. However, like I said, the normal rules apply here as well. So if the blue vessel is a stand-on vessel, she should take action when she finds that the giveaway vessel or the blue vessel is not taking action. So in my opinion, if you are also using functions like trial maneuver with the ARPA, you have to be very aware of the pros and the cons, the positive and the negative of such functions, how much time has elapsed between the time you use the trial maneuver function and you are taking action based on the results. Also the vectors that you are using to establish the closest point of approach, is it true vectors or relative vectors, and be very aware of crossing based on such data. And even if you are doing so, and even if the trial maneuver is showing that you are crossing ahead of a vessel in a crossing situation, you should avoid doing so and endeavor or try to pass astern of a crossing vessel. That would clear the situation for the stand-on vessel as well, and it would be safe for you as well as the crossing vessel to pass clear of it. So that is my analysis of the scenario. Please let me know if you want to add something to it. I know that some analysis will recommend using VHF to communicate. However, I don't do so. It is not recommended by practices of seamanship. So in case of the blue vessel, do not try to, rather in case of the container vessel, do not try to contact the blue vessel and try to communicate intentions, because you don't have much time in such close case scenarios. So you must start taking action and communicate your intention through your action alone, instead of wasting time in identifying the vessel, communicate intentions, because there could be a possibility where you identify the incorrect vessel and that will result in further confusion. So that is it from now, guys, from at least from me, guys, and please respond to the case study. This is good for your learning. This is good for you to assess how much you know about the rules of the road. And this was testing your knowledge of the rule 10, which is traffic separation schemes. So I look forward to your responses. It doesn't matter if it's incorrect. At least you get to assess your analysis to my analysis. Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.